So, good morning students. So, today we are going to see the continuation of your mitosis. So, this chapter 7 cell cycle. In chapter 7 cell cycle, yesterday I have discussed about mitosis in the previous video. This video we are going to discuss about the cytokinesis, how it is taking place in the mitosis, and then followed by today we are going to discuss about what is meiosis. Okay. So, when you come to this mitosis, we already discussed mitosis. Nuclear division is of two types. One is mitosis, another one is meiosis. In mitosis, it usually takes place by means of four stages: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And during the telophase is the last phase of your mitosis. So, during this telophase, the formation of your two daughter cells usually takes place during the telophase. That is, formation of two nuclear division is completed during the telophase, and then followed by the separation of the two cells or the parental cells also takes place. So, during telophase, the separation of or the division of nuclear takes place. Division of nucleus takes place, or it is completed. Then it is followed by the division of cytoplasm. So, the division of cytoplasm or the division of the parental cell into two daughter cell is called as a cytokinesis. So, how the cytokinesis are usually taking place? Okay. So, we have to discuss about that. So, they are classified how the cytokinesis are taking place in the plant cell as well as in the animal cell. First, we will discuss about how the cytokinins takes place in the animal cell. Okay. So, once during this telophase, the two duplicated chromosomes are able to move towards the both ends of your cell. Okay, at the single parental cell, the duplicated chromosomes, they move towards the opposite end of your or move to the poles of your cell. So, now they are present there. So, after that, what is happening? The cytokinesis of your parental cell has to take place. So, how the cytokinesis are usually taking place in the animal cell? First, in the animal cell, the cytokinesis usually takes place, or the separation of parent cell into two cells usually takes place by means of contractile process. How? By means of contractile process. First, what is happening? A ring will be formed. A ring will be formed. So, now how the cytokinesis usually takes place in the animal cell? You just see this diagram, how the cytokinesis usually takes place in the animal cell. Okay, cytokinesis in the animal cell. So, first, if you take, this is a parental cell, this is a parental cell. So, you will be having the formation of two daughter nuclei. This is one nuclei, this is another nuclei. So, this is a parental cell. Okay. Here the duplicated chromosomes or chromosomal pairs are present. So, here it usually takes place by means of contractile process. First, a ring will be formed. Okay. Here a ring will be formed. So, this is called as a ring. So, a ring will be formed. Okay. This ring usually consists of the bundles of microfilaments that are arranged to form actin and myosin. So, a ring will be formed at the center of your, at the poles of your equatorial, at the poles of your equatorial, two rings are formed. So, what is going to be equatorial? It is the center part of your cell. So, at the center part of your cell, at the poles of your equatorial, okay, or at the poles of the two poles of the equatorial, two rings are formed, and these rings usually consist of a microfilament that are formed by means of two proteins, that is actin and myosin. So, you will be having an actin and myosin at these two rings. So, these two rings which is formed at the poles of your equator, they will try to contract or they will try to interact among each other. As a result, what is happening here, these rings are able to undergo an interaction because of contractions. So, there will be a furrow will be formed. Okay, a small furrow will be formed in between these two cells. Okay, this is called as a furrow. This is called as a furrow. This furrow further deepens in the equator of your cell, and finally divides the parental cell into two daughter cells. So, finally, the parental cells are divided into two daughter cells. This is one daughter cell, this is another daughter cell. So they are the two daughter cell. Okay, so in this way the cytokinesis usually takes place in the animal cell. Next, how this cytokinesis usually takes place in the plant cell, we will discuss. So division of cytoplasm usually takes place in the plant cell by means of pharmacoplast. Okay, what is pharmacoplast? Pharmacoplast mainly consists of microtubules. It is mainly made up of microtubules, actin filaments, vesicles, that is from Golgi apparatus and endoplasmic reticulum. So you will be having the formation of the pharmacoplast. Okay, and this pharmacoplast mainly consists of four important components. One is microtubules, another one is your actin filament, Golgi apparatus and endoplasmic reticulum. So this formation of pharmacoplast usually takes place. In this, the microtubule which is present in this pharmacoplast, okay, it is first fused with each other. Okay, the microtubules which usually fuse with each other at the equatorial plate of your cell, and it forms a new plasma membrane. Okay, first formation is usually the formation of new plasma membrane. It is usually formed by the fusion of the membranes of your microtubules. Okay, next what is happening? Next step is the formation of your cell wall. So before going to the formation of cell wall, there is another structure that is formed that is called as a cell plate. So what is meant by cell plate? So here your Golgi apparatus is there, no? In the you are able to see the presence of Golgi apparatus in this pharmacoplast. So you have a presence of Golgi apparatus. These Golgi apparatus fuse together. Okay, the fusion of the membranes of Golgi apparatus usually takes place. So fusion of the membrane of Golgi apparatus usually takes place. Okay, and it results in the formation of the structure called as a middle lamellae. Okay, it forms a structure called as a cell plate. So the first stage in the cell wall construction is the formation of cell plate. How the cell plate is formed? Because of the fusion of the membranes of Golgi apparatus. So then this cell plate slowly will be having the deposition. So the cell plate will be able to have the deposition of your calciums, magnesium, pectate, and all these things will be deposited on the cell plate, and finally the cell plate is been transformed or converted into lamella. It is converted into middle lamella. Okay. So first is the formation of plasma membrane from microtubule. Second important layer that is formed in your plant cell is a cell plate. The cell plate is finally slowly able to transform into middle lamellae by deposition of the calcium and magnesium pectate. Then the third process is on either side of your middle lamellae there will be the formation or the deposition of cellulose. So cellulose will be deposited on either side of your middle lamellae and it becomes the cell wall. Okay. So when you come to the plant cell, so the plant cell are usually formed by means of cell plate. How the cytokinesis are usually takes place in the plant cell, you can able to see. If this is a parental cell, this is a parental cell in plant. Okay. It is a parental cell. Okay. First the cell plates are formed. So separation of parental cell into two daughter cell. This is one daughter cell, this is another daughter cell. Okay. Usually takes place by formation of cell plate. Okay. So this cell plate is finally converted into cell wall. Okay. So in plant cell, the parent cells are converted to two daughter cell by means of a cell plate. So before this formation, first formation will be the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. Next to the plasma membrane, cell plate will be formed and it will be converted into, cell plate will be converted into middle lamellae. Cell plate will be converted into middle lamellae. Then this is the second process. Third process is that deposition of the cellulose between the middle lamellae. So if you take a plant cell, you will be having these following structures. So you will be having, this is a cell membrane, and this is followed by cell wall, and then it is followed by middle lamellae. Further, the cell wall is converted into primary cell wall, secondary cell wall, okay, all those things are there. So this is a cell membrane, this is a cell membrane, and this one is a cell wall, and this one is a middle lamellae. Okay, this is the way the plant cell will be finally, all these things will be formed in the parental cell, and finally the cell divides, undergoes cytokinesis, and it forms two daughter cell. Okay, so this is the way by which your plant cells are able to undergo cytokinesis. Okay, next to that is what is the advantages of your, I think you have completed the cytokinesis, right? Okay, fine. So the next is what is the advantages of your mitosis or significance of your mitosis. So the first significance of your mitosis is it gives genetic stability. It gives a genetic stability. So what is the meaning for that? Whatever the parents, whatever the genes or the chromosomes present in the parent, they are being transferred to the daughter cell. So the genetic stability is being maintained. Whatever the parent is having, the same amount is transferred to the daughter. So the same genome is being maintained. So we call this as a genetic stability. So the genetic stability is usually maintained by means of mitosis. Next important, second important advantages of your mitosis is, for most of the multicellular organisms are able to grow only by means of mitosis. So the growth of multicellular organism takes place only by means of mitosis. Third important process is the repair of tissues. So if you have any damages, okay, that damaged cells are removed by new cells, no? So this formation of new cells or replacement of damaged cells by new cells usually takes place only by a process of mitosis. And then what is the next fourth important point or advantages of mitosis is, in case of unicellular organisms like bacteria, yeast and amoeba, they are able to undergo asexual reproduction only by means of mitosis. The simple cell division itself is a mode of reproduction, especially is a mode of asexual reproduction in unicellular organism. So mitosis play an important role not only for cell division, but it also plays an important role as a asexual reproduction in unicellular organisms like yeast and amoeba. And in case of plants, especially in flowering plants, the formation of or the multiplication of meristematic shoots as well as the meristematic roots, no? The plants are able to undergo multiplication only from the root as well as from the shoot system. So the root and the shoot system usually have meristematic cells. So the division of these meristematic cells in the root and the shoot mainly responsible for the growth of the plant. So these meristematic divisions are usually undergoing by means of mitosis. So all this are being discussed only with respect to how these meristematic tissues present in the plants are able to undergo growth by means of mitosis. That is what we have discussed. So examples you see, bulbs, corns, tuber, rhizomes, runners, they are all examples of roots. So they will be able to undergo division only by means of mitosis. So mitosis usually produces a large number of offsprings or daughter cells within a short period of time. Okay, so this property is mainly being exploited for the biotechnology as well as genetic engineering, and they use this property which has been shown by this mitosis for tissue culture methods. Okay, because within a short duration you are able to produce more amount of cells. Okay, from the parent cell you are able to produce more amount of cells within a short duration by means of mitosis. So this property they are exploited and they employed in genetic engineering and biotechnology, so that it has been playing a pioneer role in the tissue culture methods. What is tissue culture? You have a single cell, and this single cell you are able to multiply into whole plant. So from a single cell you are able to develop a whole plant. For example, it is taking place in the tissue culture. So this development of plant from a single cell usually being carried out only by a process of mitosis. Next is the regeneration. So not only the mitosis are useful for the growth and development of the organisms, it also helps for the regeneration of certain parts, missing parts, okay, from the whole organisms. Example, arms of starfish, they are all been usually able to again regenerated by means of regeneration. Apart from this, another important point is that when a male and a female gametes are able to fuse, you may able to get a structure called as a zygote. Okay, this zygote is a diploid cell. This diploid zygote, from the diploid zygote, whole humans are being developed. So mitosis is not only useful for all other purposes, not only useful for up to this regeneration, it is also used for the formation of new organisms. Okay, so that's all about your significance of your mitosis. Next we'll move on to the meiosis. So now we'll discuss about what is meant by meiosis. Meiosis in Greek, what is meant by meom? Meom means to reduce. In Greek, meom means to reduce. So meiosis is a process by which the number of chromosomes from the parental will be get reduced. Okay, the number of chromosomes that is formed in the daughter cell will be reduced when compared to that of the parental cell. So that is called as a meiosis. So meiosis is mainly unique because it is slightly different from your mitosis, because it is usually having some other additional process that is taking place in the meiosis. What are all they? They are all called as a synapsis, homologous recombination and reduction division. So meiosis is basically a reduction division. So that is a very well known point. Apart from this, during meiosis, synapsis as well as homologous recombination takes place. So only we call this meiosis as a unique nuclear division. So where this meiosis are taking place, it is usually taking place in the reproductive organ. Okay, so mainly meiosis taking place in the reproductive organ, and finally it results in the formation of two haploid number of gametes. It results in the formation of haploid gametes. Okay, in case of humans. But when you come to the when you come to these humans, these since they are able to take place in the reproductive organs, mainly the testes and ovary is a site where this meiosis takes place, and finally it produces the haploid sperm and haploid egg from the testes and ovaries respectively. Okay, in flowering plants, if you take plants, especially in flowering plants, meiosis occur during the microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. Okay, so microsporogenesis means what? The formation of microspore. Megasporogenesis means formation of megaspores. So during the formation of these microspores and megaspores in the flowering plant, they usually able to undergo meiosis. Only by the process of meiosis they are able to produce these particular spores. So in contrast to mitosis, as we already discussed, it is a reduction division. So the daughter cells which is being produced from the parental cell will be having only half the number of the total chromosomes. Okay. So apart from this, what is the other important features of meiosis? The daughter cells which is produced from the parental cell will not be looking same as that of your parental cell. So the daughter cells are genetically not identical. They are genetically non-identical, the daughter cells. So since they are genetically non-identical, these two daughter cells which is produced from the parental cell, they usually provides a new genotypes, and as a result they form a basic structure for variation and evolution. Since the two daughter cells are not same with respect to the parental cell, because they are changed they are having a different in their genome of they are having a different in the number of genomes with respect to the parental one. As a result, these two daughter cells are different. Since they are different, they are slightly varying from the parental one. So meiosis produces a variation in the daughter cells. Since it is able to produce variations in the daughter cells when compared to parental cell, it leads to a important process called evolution. So the evolution is also possible because of your meiosis. Okay, so now we will discuss about what are the different stages that is undergoing in the meiosis. Okay, meiosis are been basically classified into two important divisions. One is meiosis 1, another one is meiosis 2. Okay, so when compared to mitosis, the cells is said to be in the interphase when it is not dividing. Okay, the cell is usually said to be in the interphase when the cell is not dividing. So both in the mitosis and meiosis, the cell will be usually able to undergo a first stage called as a interphase. So during this phase, the cell is not able to undergo any division. Okay. So in the case of meiosis, the prophase 1 is the longest and the most complex stage in the meiosis. So you have meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 in case of meiotic divisions. In that meiosis 1, they are differentiating this meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 in a different manner. Whatever the substages that is coming under meiosis 1, they are calling it as a prophase 1, prophase 2, metaphase 1, metaphase, then anaphase 1 and telophase 1. So like that they are just giving a number 1. This 1 clearly indicates that it is a first meiotic cycle. It is usually undergoing the first meiotic cycle. If they are able to indicate a number 2, that clearly indicates it is able to undergo second meiotic division. Okay. Now, when you come to this first meiotic division, so we are going to we have discussed that meiosis is able to undergo 2 stages, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. We are going to discuss about the meiosis 1 division. Okay, the first meiosis 1 division we are going to discuss. So meiosis 1 division is called as a reduction division. So clearly it indicates that only in the meiosis 1, the reduction of number of chromosomes into half the number takes place. Okay. So meiosis 1 is usually divided into 4 phases, prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1 and telophase 1. So in that we are going to discuss about the prophase 1 of your meiosis 1. So prophase 1 is the first phase of your meiosis 1 and it is the longest duration. As we already discussed, this is the longest duration in case of your prophase 1, and when compared to mitosis, this prophase 1 is the longest and it is also more complex. This prophase 1 is divided into 5 substages. They are called as leptotin, zygotin, pachytin, diplotin and dikinesis. So these are 5 substages they have been present in this prophase 1. So we will first discuss with these all these different phases, leptotin, zygotin and all those things. When you come to this leptotin stage, so here the chromosomes are usually visible under light microscope. So what is happening during this leptotin stage now? So the condensation of chromosomes, lepto means thin. Okay. So the chromatins get condensed and it forms a very thin long chromosomes. That is what taking place in the leptotin. So these very thin long chromosomes are clearly visible under the light microscope. That is the important characteristic features of your leptotin. Okay. Next, when you come to this zygotin, so you can see very thin long chromosomes. These thin long chromosomes are formed by the condensation of chromatin. So in leptotin, the condensation of chromatin to form chromosome usually takes place. What is meant by zygotin? This is the second stage of your prophase 1, that is zygotin. Zygo means fusion of 2, something like that. So zygotin here, the pairing of homologous chromosomes usually takes place. Okay. And we call this pairing of homologous chromosomes as synapses. You can see from this diagram. So here there is a pairing of these 2 chromosomes. So here the pairing usually takes place between these 2 chromosomes and we call this as a synapsis. See, synapsis is usually begin. Okay. So these pairing usually takes place and it is usually mediated by a complex called as a synaptonomial complex. Synaptomial complex. This is a complex that usually helps for the pairing of these 2 homologous chromosomes. So this is also taking place during this zygotin stage. So when you are able to see this pairing of these 2 homologous chromosomes, you may be able to get a structure called as a bivalent or tetroids. So the pairing of 2 homologous chromosomes are called as synapses, and when you are able to visualize this structure under the microscope, they are usually present as a bivalent or tetroids. So we call this pairing of 2 homologous chromosomes as bivalent or tetroids. So next to that zygotin is a pachytin stage. So during this pachytin stage, what is happening here? The bivalent chromosomes are clearly visible. So when you just see here, in case of pachytin stage now, the bivalent chromosomes you see here, this is one, here you are able to see only the 2 chromosomes, but the bivalent or tetras are not clearly visible. Whereas in pachytin you see here, this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the bivalent chromosomes which usually present the form of tetrads are clearly visible only in the pachytin. Okay, so that's the important characteristic features. Apart from this, what is happening in case of your pachytin is that the 2 homologous chromosomes, they are having a chromatids called non-sister, they are having a chromatids. Okay, so the crossing recombination nodules will be formed. First, a recombination nodules will be formed between the two non-sister chromatids. So after this formation of recombination nodule, what is that? The crossing over usually takes place from this recombination nodule. Okay, so after this crossing over is usually taking place in the recombination nodule, then it results in the exchange of the genetic content between the two homologous chromosomes. So, okay, so finally this formation of this what is that? Formation of the recombination nodule and followed by the exchange of genetic material between the two non-sister chromatids, that is formation of recombination nodule, exchange of genetic material takes place and it is called as a crossing over. And after this exchange of genetic material or crossing over between the two non-sister chromatids, okay, finally it results in the completion of your recombination. Okay, so all this formation of the recombination nodule and crossing over, they are all being mediated by an enzyme called recombinase. So recombinase is an enzyme that is usually help for this recombination process. So at the end of Pachytene stage, the recombination is completed. So the important what is that features that is taking place in the Pachytene is the tetrads are clearly visible, formation of recombination nodule, and then it is followed by the what is that attachment of these two what is that sister chromatids, and it is called as a crossing over. And then at the point of crossing over, you may have exchange of genetic material takes place, and then it is usually mediated by recombinase, okay, an enzyme. So finally the recombination or the exchange of genetic material between the two sister chromatids takes place. So the recombination is completed in the Pachytene stage. Next to that is the diplotin stage. As the name indicates, diplotin. Here the synaptonomial complex that is held for the formation of this synapses, no, it slowly disassembled and dissolves. It slowly disassembled and dissolved, and as a result, the homologous, though it is a synaptonomial complex has been dissolved or disintegrated, but still the homologous chromosomes are remain attached to each other at a point, and we call this particular point as a chiasma. So what is chiasma? So the synaptonomial complex, which is able to help for the pairing of two homologous chromosomes, no, they slowly get dissolved. As a result, the the two sister chromatids slowly get separated from each other, and this separated, when it is able to undergo separation, it forms a structure called a X-shaped structure, and this X-shaped structure is called as a chiasma. So you can see this structure X-shaped from this diagram. You can able to see here an X-shaped, right? So here you are not able to see X-shaped, but in the case of diplotin, you are able to see a structure called X-shaped, right? Here it is able to move here, and here it is able to move here. These X-shaped structures are called as a chiasma, and these chiasma or X-shaped structure are clearly visible only in the diplotin stage. Next to that diplotin is finally dikinesis. Okay, so what is the dikinesis? Here the terminalization of chiasma usually takes place. Okay, during dikinesis, terminalization of chiasma usually takes place, and the chromosomes again usually able to undergo condensation, and it becomes very short. Okay, that is what called as a dikinesis. You can see from this diagram here, the X-shaped structures slowly get disappear, and then the chromosomes able to undergo further condensation, and it forms very short chromosomes. That is what taking place in the dikinesis. So that is the end of your prophase 1. And during this dikinesis, what is happening here? You see here, there is a terminalization of chiasma. The homologous chromosomes, which is having the bivalent sister chromatids, becomes very short and condensed. Again, it is similar to that of your prophase 1 of your mitosis. The nucleolus and nuclear envelope disappear, spindle fibers are able to assemble. So this is what happening in case of dikinesis. This phase is slightly similar with respect to your prophase 1. Next, after this prophase 1, which is the longest phase of your meiosis, the next stage is the metaphase 1. As the name indicates, so these cycles are similar with respect to your prophase 1, but slightly different. So in what way it is similar? The spindle fibers are usually formed, okay, at the poles of your cell, and these spindle fibers are the centromeres are able to assemble at the two ends of your cell, and they are able to form spindle fiber. The spindle fibers are get attached to the pair of homologous chromosomes. But when the spindle fibers are able to attach to a pair of homologous chromosomes or the bivalent chromosomes, they will attach only to one end of your kinetochore. They are able to attach only to the one of your kinetochore of your centromere, but not on the two ends of your kinetochore. Okay, is are able to clear? So the spindle fibers get attached to the centromere or the kinetochore of your centromere. When the spindle fibers are able to attach to the kinetochore of your centromere, the spindle fibers will attach only to the one kinetochore of your chromosomal pair. It attaches to only one kinetochore of your chromosomal pair, not on the both kinetochore. It is not attached to the both kinetochore proteins of your homologous pair. Only in one of your kinetochore of each homologous pair, the spindle fibers will get attached. And after that, these bivalent chromosomes are aligned at the center of the cell, and we call this as a metaphase plate. Okay, you can see this diagram from this back end of your slide. You see here, after the prophase 1, okay, spindle fibers are formed here, and these chromosomes are arranged at the center of your cell, and it is called as a metaphase 1. Okay. So next to that metaphase 1 is called as a telophase. So again I will go and see what is the telophase. I will just try to explain it, and then I will come and show it in your diagram. So in case of telophase 1, only a pair of sister chromatids. So once it is get attached, next to that is a anaphase 1. So you finished about the prophase and metaphase 1. Next is a anaphase 1. So during anaphase 1, the homologous chromosomes with a pair, they get separated. Okay, the homologous chromosomes with a pair, they will be get separated and move towards the opposite end of your pole. You can see from this diagram. So during the anaphase, so here the homologous chromosomes, okay, they are able to get separated from the center of your cell, and they move towards the each pole of the cell. And it usually takes place by means of three processes. One is the spindle fiber which is attaching this the homologous pair will be get shortened. The spindle fiber which is able to attach to the pair of homologous chromosomes get shortened. That is one process. Second important process is that the formation of there is a protein called as a APC protein. Okay, this is a cluster of protein. That proteins also helps to split the chromosomes of the two sister chromatids. Okay, so you can able to see a protein, and these proteins also play a major important role. And then another important third important factor that separates this each homologous pair is that the centromere is not been divided. Here the centromere is not divided. As a result, the homologous chromosomes, they will move towards the opposite poles, and they are able to occupy the two ends of your parental cell. So this is a stage, this is the actual stage where there is a reduction in the number of chromosomes takes place. This is the actual stage where there is a reduction in the number of chromosomes takes place. Since that spindle fiber attached to only one of your kinetochore of your centromere, so the chromosomes with the two chromatids, okay, a pair of chromosomes with the two chromatids get separated. Okay, the chromosomes with a pair, chromosomal pair with the two chromatids, okay, will be get separated. There is no division of centromere takes place here. Okay, so here only the separation of chromosomal pair takes place. There is no division of chromosomal pair takes place here. That is the important point you have to understand. As a result, what is happening? The number of finally is the chromosomes are not being multiplied in number. There is a reduction in the chromosome will takes place at this stage. Okay, here the sister chromatids are not being separated. It is still remains at the center of your, it's still attached to the centromeres. So next phase is called the telophase 1. So in the telophase 1, the haploid set of chromosomes are present at the each pole. So finally, if you look at this one, the haploid set of chromosomes are present at the each pole during the telophase 1, and then this haploid set of chromosomes which is present at each pole, okay, they have been get separated, and it is usually followed by the formation of nuclear envelope, nucleolus envelope, and then formation of cellular organelles. Everything will take place, and then the this completion of nuclear division is over. Then it is followed by cytokinesis. So formation of two cells or separation of two cells usually takes place, and it results in the formation of two daughter cells. So that is what you are able to see here in the telophase. So in telophase, what is happening? After the nuclear division is over, nuclear envelope develops, nucleolus develops inside the nucleus, cellular organelles will be developed, spindle fibers will get disappeared, and then the cell nuclear division is over. Then it is followed by the cytokinesis. So the parent cell divides into two, and it forms a two cells in case of telophase 1. So during meiosis 1, it starts with a single cell, and then finally it results in the formation of two cells. But these two cells are usually having only haploid number of chromosomes when compared to that of your parental cell. So that is what the output of your meiosis 1. Okay. Next we'll move on to the meiosis 2. So when you come to this meiosis 2, it first starts with the prophase 1, and then it is go with the metaphase. It starts with the prophase 2, then metaphase 2, anaphase 2, and telophase 2. So and these phases are slightly similar with respect to your mitosis 1. Okay, meiosis 2. Okay, once the meiosis 1 is been over, there is a small gap is usually been present. Yes, a stage that is present in between the mitosis 1 and meiosis 1, and it is called as a interkinesis. This phase is a short-lived phase. During this phase, there is no any multiplication of cell division takes place. Okay, but the cells are still remain active. Then followed by this interkinesis, the cells usually able to move to the meiosis 2. Okay, meiosis 2 is called as a equatorial divisions. Meiosis 2 is called as a equatorial division. Why it is called as equatorial division? Because the two cells which is having the haploid set of number of chromosomes will not able to undergo further reduction or division. Okay, the same amount of genetic material is maintained. So only it is called as a equatorial division. So this meiosis 2 resembles similar to that of your mitosis 1. So it starts with the 4 stages, that is a prophase 2, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase 2. So what is prophase 2? Here the chromosome with the two sister chromatids became short, thick, and it will be very clearly visible. See, here the new spindle fibers are able to form at the two opposite pole of your cell, and they will attach to the two sister chromatids. They will be attached to the two sister chromatids of your chromosomes, and then the nuclear membrane, nucleolus, all will be get disappear. Okay, fine. Next what to that is metaphase 2. So during the metaphase 2, the chromosomes are arranged or aligned at the center of your cell, that is called as a equatorial plate. Okay, so then these spindle fibers will be shortening, and then it will try to pull the chromosomes which are arranged at the center of your cell to the pole of your cell. So when the chromosomes are aligned at the equatorial plate, the spindle fibers will be able to attach to the both kinetochore of your chromosomal pair. This is the important point you have to understand. In metaphase 2, the spindle fiber that is originating from your centromere, it will be get attached to both the kinetochore protein disc of your chromosomal pair, which is present at the centromere. As a result, what will happen? So now the microtubules of spindles get attached to the centromere of sister chromatids, especially on the both disc of your chromatochore protein. So next to that metaphase 2 is what? Anaphase 2. Here the two sister chromatids are get separated. Since the spindle fibers attached to two kinetochore proteins, both sister chromatids of your chromosomal pair gets separated. Of your chromosome gets separated. Here the daughter chromosomes move to the opposite pole due to the shortening of spindle fiber. Okay, so finally, so during the anaphase 2, so the centromeres of each chromosomes will be splitting up. As a result, the two chromatids of your chromosomes will be get separated, and it move towards the opposite pole of your cell. Since the centromeres are able to separate, the two chromatids of each chromosomes are get separated. Okay, that is what you have to understand. And it moves towards the opposite pole of your cell. So here, in case of anaphase 2, the sister chromatids are get separated. When you come to the telophase 2, so you see here, anaphase 2, the two sister chromatids are get separated. Okay, and when you come to this telophase 2, what is happening here during the anaphase itself? It is similar to that of your mitosis. What is happening here? The nuclear membrane usually able to reappear. Nucleolus will be reappearing it in the case of anaphase 2, and then cellular organelles all will be able to be formed, and finally the separate what is that, 4 groups of chromosomes. No, here you are having 4 groups of chromosomes. So all these 4 groups of chromosomes are been formed in the anaphase 2. When you come to this telophase 2, okay, these 4 groups of what is that, chromosomes are been covered by a separate nuclear envelope. You see here, it is covered by a separate nuclear envelope. It is covered by a separate nuclear envelope. So similarly here also it is separated by a separate nuclear envelope. And inside you will be forming a nucleolus will be formed. Spindle fibers will be get disappeared during this telophase 2. Okay. So finally all the cellular organelles will be synthesized, and finally the cell will be dividing. It will be so nuclear division is over. Then the cell is able to undergo cytokinesis, and it forms 4 haploid cells. Okay. So this is what taking place in your telophase 2. Okay, that's all about your meiosis 2. Then what is the significance of your meiosis? So it maintains a definite constant number of chromosomes in organism. So main significance of your meiosis is it usually maintains a definite significant number of, it maintains a definite constant number of chromosomes. Constant number of chromosomes are usually maintained in the cell. For example, a parental cell is usually having 46 chromosomes, and it is able to produce gametes. No, so it is though it is able to produce haploid gametes, and at the finally the 2 haploid gametes fuse together, and finally again it will become 46 chromosomes only. So during meiosis, there is no increase in the number of chromosomes, or there is no decrease in the number of chromosomes. The number of chromosomes are definitely maintained in the case of this meiosis. Though it is a reduction division, the reduced 2 cells, okay, though it is able to form 4 haploid cells, these 4 haploid cells, no, either it will be having only the 4 haploid cells, but one of the haploid cells from the parent will fuse with the another haploid cells from the mother, and finally it produces a 46 chromosomes. So finally the number of DNA content is constantly maintained. So the number of chromosome content is constantly maintained. That is important significance of your meiosis. Next to that is another important significance of your meiosis is that during meiosis, synapsis, recombination nodule all takes place, and finally exchange of genetic material takes place. So that is called as a crossing over. So crossing over usually takes place in the meiosis. As a result of crossing over, there is an exchange of genetic material takes place, and finally it results in the formation of new chromosomal pair. So since the new chromosomal pairs are produced, it creates a variation in the daughter chromosomes. So since the daughter chromosomes are being varied with respect to the parental one, it leads a foundation for evolution. So that is what they are trying to say. So mutation, meiosis play an important role for the process of evolution. But mitosis is not able to play an important role for evolution, because the formed daughter cell are similar with respect to the parental cell. So there is no evolution takes place in mitosis. Whereas in case of meiosis, the daughter cell formed are genetically different among themselves as well as with the parental one. As a result, they are able to produce a new variation in the daughter cells. Since it is able to produce variations from the parental one, it lays a foundation for the process of evolution. Okay. Next thing is what? Adaptation of organisms to various environmental stress. For example, if a organism is plant is able to grow under a high stress condition, no, like a high salt concentration or water drought and all those things. So during this unfavorable conditions, these plants are able to undergo some adaptations to that particular environmental conditions. These adaptations to the plant with respect to various environmental conditions are mainly because of this meiotic process. So meiosis helps to adapt the organisms to various environmental conditions. So that's all about your mitosis and meiosis. When you come to the difference between the mitosis in case of plants and animals, what is the difference between the mitosis and meiosis? What is the difference between the plant and animal with respect to mitosis? Okay, not in meiosis, with respect to mitosis. So when you come to the mitosis that is taking place in the plant, no, the plants are usually having centrioles is present, whereas in case of animals, centrioles are not present. In case of animals, the centrioles is not present in the mitotic cell division. Since the centrioles are not present, plants, the astrocyte will not be formed. Whereas here the centrioles are present, so as will be formed in the animals in case of mitosis. Cell division involves the formation of cell plate. Okay, a single parental cell divides into two daughter cell. In case of plant cell, it is usually by means of cell plate. Okay, here the cell division or cytokinesis in animal cell is usually takes place by means of furrow and a cleavage of cytoplasm. Next is the in plants the mitosis usually takes place only in the meristematic cells, especially in the growing root and the growing shoot. The particular mitosis takes place in the plant. Whereas when come to the animals, the mitosis usually takes place in all parts of your body. Throughout the body there will be a mitosis takes place, because when you take your animals, for example humans, you will be having a intestinal gut, you will be having epithelial cells, you will be having blood cells. Every 24 hours once your gut epithelial cells has to be replaced, and your gut cells has to be replaced, epithelial cells has to be replaced, 24 hours once your RBC cells to be replaced. All these are taking place only because of mitosis. So almost all the cells are all parts of your body, throughout your body in animals the mitosis takes place. Whereas in case of plants, it takes place only at the root tip and the shoot tip, where the meristematic tissues are present. So that's the main difference between your mitosis that is taking place between the plants and the animals. So when come to this, what is the difference between the mitosis that is taking place? What is the difference between mitosis and meiosis? You can very clearly summarize the difference between mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is only one division. Meiosis we have two divisions, meiotic 1 and meiotic 2. Here the number of chromosomes that is produced in the daughter cell will be remains same in case of mitosis. Whereas in meiosis, the number of chromosomes produced is not same with respect to the parental one. It is only half the number of chromosomes are present when compared to the parental one. Next, the homologous chromosomes are lined up separately on the metaphase chromosomes. You have homologous chromosomes, but these homologous chromosomes are not able to undergo pairing. It is just lined separately in case of your mitosis. And these homologous chromosomes are aligned separately, no? So these homologous chromosomes, they do not able to pair, because they are not able to align together. They are not able to align together. They are aligned in a horizontal manner. So there is no recombination takes place between these homologous chromosomes. Okay, in case of mitosis. Whereas as a result, since there is no recombination takes place, no formation of chiasma takes place here. When you come to the meiosis, the homologous chromosomes are aligned in a pair. Okay, during the especially in the zygote stage, the homologous chromosomes are aligned in pair, and as a result, what is happening? There will be a formation of recombination nodules, and then the crossing over takes place, and finally it results in this formation of structure called as a bivalent or tetroid. So the formation of bivalent or tetroid is formed because of the pairing of your homologous chromosome. So finally it forms a structure called a chiasmata. Okay, so there is a formation of pairing of homologous chromosomes, formation of bivalent or tetroid takes place between the chromosomal between the pair of homologous chromosomes, and chiasma is formed. All these things are not been seen in case of mitosis, because the homologous chromosomes are not aligned in a pair. It is aligned at the center of your cell separately. Next, here the daughter cells formed is not genetically identical, because they have the same amount of chromosomes. There is no crossing over takes place. So the daughter cells formed are genetically identical with respect to the parental cell. Here the daughter cell formed are not genetically identical. They are not genetically identical, because there is an exchange of genetic material taking place during the crossing over, and as a result new daughter cells are formed, and these daughter cells are not identical with the parental cell. Okay, so the two daughter cells are formed here finally that are not identical. Here 4 daughter cells are formed that are not identical with respect to the parental womb. Here 2 daughter cells are formed that are identical with the parental womb. So that is the main difference between mitosis and meiosis. So finally they use a term called as some terms they are generally used here. What is meant by I think mitogen, something like they have used a term called as mitogen. So what is mitogen? They are the one which is mainly responsible for the favor, or it is induces a cell cycle, that is called as a mitogen. So there are some proteins called as some proteins, they are not able to favor the cell cycle, and they are called as a what is that? They are the poisons of the mitogen. Okay, so mitogens are substances. It may be physical, chemical, any substances. When any substances that is induce the mitosis or cell cycle, it is called as a mitogen. Any substances which is not inducing the cell cycle, it is called as a poisons to the mitosis. So I think with this we have completed this mitosis and meiosis. So thank you.